Wait, pal, what do you have for me?
I'm doing good, Doggy. How are you today?
All right, Scott, nice to chat. Let me hear now. Go ahead.
First thing on FAN and then the NFL draft. Look, Chris, first, FAN is to blame for this going down. You can't put those three guys in your most important spot in your lineup when two of the three don't know the difference between, the new Andujar kid on the Yankees and Joaquin Andujar from St. Louis. If you can't talk baseball in New York for 12 months a year, you can't be in that time slot. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is those three shouldn't be surprised this happened. If WFAN for the first time in 30 years loses that ratings book in that time slot, your job's on the line. That's just the way it is. You have to deal with it. You took that spot. You had to know it. So I don't feel for them. I mean, I do. They lost their spot, but they should be expecting it, and FAN really put them in an impossible spot.
Oh, they did. This is really FAN's fault more than anybody else's. I mean, FAN, it was a very, again, impossible situation. I don't understand that, but they were too wrapped up in checking boxes instead of wrapped up in making sure they found a clue in there, and whoever that clue would be, it doesn't make any difference who could connect with the audience, and that was a very, very, very. It was a weird mix. I just didn't understand it.
You have to be able to, Chris, if you can't talk baseball in New York for 12 months out of the year, you can't be on that spot.
Yeah, you're dead. You got to talk baseball. Now, again, the issue that you'd have with FAN, what do you do if you're FAN? What do you do if you're that company? You just lost the winner book. It's not the most important book. It's the winner book. You just lost it for the first time in about 30 years.
It's a trend. If you lost that one and you can't talk baseball, you may be losing them all.
Right. And, do you cut your losses that you would perceive are losses, or do you do the right thing and give them more time? Now, that's a very tricky call. They obviously felt that there was not a ton of hope, and you bring in Mike back, that they can salvage the afternoon, and he will. I think they just felt it was too important to pass up. Simple as that.
I agree. Here's my thing on the NFL draft, Chris. Now, look, we can all say, and the Daniel Jeremiahs of the world and the Mike Mayock's can say that they don't think there's a difference between any of these quarterbacks. But you and I both know, Chris, in the Cleveland Brown war room, they have a guy who they think, whoever it may be, is the number one quarterback. And that being the case, you can't miss that. You can't have Kirk Cousins if you're drafting fourth and have the other two guys be Eli and Ben Roethlisberger, because then you're going to get slaughtered. You must take the quarterback there because in the war room, Dorsey has a guy who he thinks is better than everybody else, whoever that may be.
Yeah, you're probably right. And he may not want to fool around and gamble that the Jets pass up on Josh Allen. And, the Giants trade out of that second pick, and all of a sudden Bills go in there and draft Josh Allen, and then you're dead there. So you can make the argument that it's a little too risky. If he loves Allen first, and he thinks the Giants will take Darnold, well, then he's probably going to be home free. I don't think the Jets are taking Allen, so I think he'd be home free. But, he's not. You can't be assured that Gettleman is going to make sure he takes Darnold, and I would not take him if I were the Giants. I understand, they're getting a quarterback at that pick. You're not going to be at number 2 ever again. I get that. But if you've been on record, as he has been for the last 6 months, that he feels Eli's got plenty left, you're going to draft Darnold and let him sit there for a couple of years? Geez, why would you do that? Here is Dwayne in North Carolina. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Dwayne, good afternoon. Your turn. How are you today?
I'm good. How you doing, Doggy?
Fine, Dwayne. Nice to have you aboard. What's on your mind now?
So, here's my thinking if I was the Browns. If you're so sure that the Giants are going to take Barkley, then why don't the Browns take Barkley at 1 and then package 4 and some of their plethora of picks that they have in this draft to get back at 2, then you get Barkley and the quarterback that you believe is above everybody else.
I'm not sure if you have enough to give the Giants to get them to move down 2 spots. But what you're basically telling me is if the Giants like Barkley, and you're not positive that's the number 1 choice, but if the Giants like Barkley, give him the 4th pick and whatever you might have in the second round and everything else to move down 2 spots, and then the Giants can sit there and they can probably take they probably in that situation would take Chubb, I would think, at number 4. Yeah, you could. That's not a terrible idea, Dwayne. That's not that outlandish for them to go in that direction. Michael, now that's obviously if the Giants don't want Donald at number 2. Because if you take Barkley and the Giants want Donald, well, then that's, you're not going to be able to pull that off. Michael here in Maryland, and he's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Mike, good afternoon. How are you today? Mike, you there? You there, Mike? Fire away. Fire away.
Hey, I heard on 2 shows today, Brady Quinn and Gil Brandt yesterday said that Mayfield is going to be dropping in the draft, and Jackson's going to be moving up. So I just want to let you know. And if I was a running back that had 23 turnovers, would I be drafted? Darnold.
A lot of turnovers. That's a fair point. Fair point on that. I did not hear this now about Mayfield dropping. You heard Gary think that Mayfield might go 3, and I do think there is a connection with the Jets and Mayfield. Got a little attitude. He's got a little chip on his shoulder. He would be the face of the franchise. He'd be good copy. You could see that. Not the end of the world. You could see that. Fascinating day with this. 48 hours to go. Of course, draft is 8 o'clock on Thursday. Eddie Erickson and Collie Schmeling today. Well done. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock on a Wednesday.